Good morning. Welcome to the November 20th, 2025 meeting of the Downtown Design Commission. My name is Eric Schmidt and I'm the Vice Chair of the Commission. The agenda and documents are located at https://okc.primegov.com/portal/public/portal. You would then select the Downtown Design Commission meeting, then click on an agenda item and relevant documents will come up below the item. Please see the agenda for additional information regarding meeting procedures and the review process. If you've parked in the Sheridan Walker parking garage north of John Rex Elementary School or in the Arts District parking garage south of City Hall, staff can provide a parking validation ticket to you. Keith, will you please call roll?
Schmidt.
Here.
Blatt.
Here.
Brandon.
Here.
Sewer.
Here.
We have quorum.
Great. Item number 2, approval of minutes. We have October 16th, 2025. Anyone want to discuss it?
I will move to approve the minutes.
Brandon, second.
The motion passes. Item 3A, case is withdrawn. There are none. Item 4, continuation requests. There are none. Item 5, consent docket. There's only one item. Does anyone want to discuss anything on it?
Make a motion to approve the consent docket.
And I'll second the motion.
Motion passes. Consent docket is approved. Item number 6, case for individual consideration. Laura.
Good morning, Laura Griggs, Planning Department. And let me remember to get to here. Last month, we had this item on the agenda for the building and the site work. At that time, we were still working on some issues with signage. So what we have here is part 2 for the signage. And the signage had to come before you because they're going to need a variance from the maximum allowable signage, which the new sign code allows. As you can see from everything listed, there is a lot of signs. Currently, there are a lot of signs on the building. Obviously, when you have a large group of people that are coming and a lot of them are not familiar with the area, they need to know where the doors are and where you can get in and things like that. So So I'm not sure why, once again, I tried and it didn't keep it. I'm sorry. You might remember I had trouble with the pictures last month and we thought we fixed it, but we didn't, and we've lost all of the pictures for the site itself. And the only ones showing up are for the surrounding area, but Keith is a magician, so he'll fix this for me.
Let's go, Keith.
That is so weird. In your packet, it was correct. There we go. Thanks, Keith. And so I didn't change them. This is the side where the addition is going, but you're also seeing one of the signs that will have to be relocated. And you're actually seeing also some additional signage that's out there, some stuff that's hanging below the overhang that's going to have to get relocated, and that's also addressed in the staff report. They're not messing with any of the signage that was on the south side that you see. And I'll just land on this one because, as you know, this is like my favorite picture that I took that day. So what I've included in this is all of the relevant regulation sections dealing with signage from both the Downtown Design District component, where it talks about what signs, what their purpose is, and things like that, as well as all of the information from our new sign regs. There is a maximum allowed of up to 400 square feet. It's 5% of the wall area. We're talking a very large building, and if I did 5% of the wall area, it'd be a lot larger than 400 square feet. So that 400 square feet has to cover everything for the building, and the east portion of the building is owned by a different entity, And luckily, they only have 2 very small signs. So there's only 20 square feet that comes off that 400, and everything else the museum can use. But what they're requesting is for more than that. So as I discussed in the staff report, currently, we have wall signage for the museum that totals 285 square feet. They're going to move some of the signs and not replace them, and then there's some signs that they're moving to new locations. And I did all the numbers, and if you have questions about the numbers, I brought my cheat sheet, so I can go over that again with you. But what they are actually requesting is a total of 653.55 square feet, which is 253.55 square feet over the maximum of 400 square feet that's permitted for the building. When you look at a building that's this large, which is essentially a block by half a block, we don't typically write regulations for larger than normal buildings. The regulations are written for the standard buildings that we deal with, and in a block, you would have multiple different buildings that have their own facades. So it is anticipated that larger buildings would actually be requesting additional signage because their needs are not being met by what our regulations allow. And signage is a very important component of a building, as I said earlier, that has a large number of visitors that are coming. One of the concerns that was included in their Board of Adjustment application was the fact that many visitors to the memorial grounds leave the site and have no idea that the museum is there. They think it's just the grounds. And so they're hoping with both the addition they're doing and additional signage that they would actually be able to get that message across to the visitors that you actually have 2 components. You have the grounds and you also have the museum. And the square foot ratio between the building facade and the signage that they're asking for is less than 1%, and that was taken from their Board of Adjustment application. The proposed size, design, and location of the size complements the building and the setting, and staff supports the application. And we're recommending approval subject to them getting variance from the Board of Adjustment from the maximum allowable sign area. And we do have representatives from the museum here today. Do you have any questions for me?
Laura, just to remind me, on new sign code would definitely allow 653 square feet of,
The new sign code maxes out at 400 square feet.
okay.
So that's what the issue is.
So then anything would just come to us above,
So, right, if they did not need a variance,
yeah.
and if none of their signs were over 100 square feet, we would have done everything administratively.
Right. Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any other questions for Laura? Would the candidate applicant like to present on this matter?
I think, are you here to just answer questions? Yes. Yeah, they're here if you guys have any questions for
Okay.
them.
Anyone want to discuss further?
I just think the scale of the signs is appropriate. And if the building, if there were 3 buildings along this facade, we would have more than 600 square feet of
Right.
aggregate signage. I think that what's being proposed is completely acceptable.
Agreed.
Would we like to entertain a motion?
I'll move to approve the application on the basis that the project complies with the regulations and guidelines of the Downtown Design District zoning ordinance as referenced in sections C and D of the staff report, with the condition that the applicant obtain a variance from the Board of Adjustment from the maximum allowable sign area.
Mariana Sarur, the second.
Thank you.
And then I will move to provide a recommendation of approval to the Board of Adjustment for a variance from the maximum allowable sign area.
Sarur, the second.
Both motions passed.
Thank you. This will be going to the Board of Adjustment for their meeting next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we have 7, other business, and informational presentation on a National Registry nomination.
I'm going to talk on this item, and then we also have staff from the Oklahoma State Historic Preservation Office that'll present the nomination to you all. You guys don't usually see National Register nominations, but this is a proposal to create a National Register district in the heart of downtown Oklahoma City, and since that's your district, we thought this was an appropriate place to also have a public meeting, an informational meeting about the district, which is required as part of the designation process. We don't have much of a public here, but we've got one audience member, and of course we're live on the internet for the millions of folks watching from home. So, when we get a National Register nomination in Oklahoma City, any property anywhere in the city comes through the city's Historic Preservation Commission for a recommendation, and then to City Council for their recommendation before it goes through the state process and on to the National Park Service. That's because we're a certified local government, which is a program through the National Historic Preservation Act that gives certain municipalities an additional layer of participation in processes related to the National Historic Preservation Act. So this will go to the Historic Preservation Commission for their formal recommendation on December 3rd, and then on to City Council a couple weeks after that, and then on to the state's Review Committee and National Park Service. With that, if you all have any questions for me about the process part of it, I'm happy to answer, or we'll let SHPO staff tell us about the nomination itself.
Thank you. My name's Linda Ozan. I'm the Deputy State Historic Preservation Officer. Our staff initiated the nomination as part of a federal tax credit project that was being initiated in downtown. So the boundaries were selected based on existing conditions. So there's the Automobile Alley district to the north. We have the Memorial to the west. We have the historic City Hall complex to the west as well. And then to the south, not really much historically that we would list on the National Register. So what you see in terms of boundaries is exactly that, the historic buildings that remain that are outside those other existing historic areas. Who's doing photos here? Or do I, okay, there we go. So there's just some photos of the general area. What we looked at here is designating this area for architecture and for law. In terms of the development of the city itself, as well as like I said, the architectural merit. Now, as part of the process that we have not addressed is the fact that there are federal properties within this boundary, which means that the federal preservation officer has to be involved as well. So there's a new level of review as part of this particular nomination. It shouldn't be any problem. So do you have any questions specifically about the properties that we've included, why we selected the boundaries? We're really excited about this opportunity to provide more opportunities for tax credit projects in downtown.
Anyone have any questions?
When you were looking at contributing resources, I've always heard 55 years, but I also know that 55 years was tied to a time a while back. What was the criteria for establishing? Because I'm just interested in it.
Typically, we look at properties that are 50 years old or older, but that's kind of a pirate rule, in that some properties get listed before they're 50 years old. With the memorial would be an excellent example of that. And so any of the properties here are things that meet the earliest construction period to about 50 years.
I'll just add that this is really great for downtown because we have many properties that we know are potentially individually eligible, but each time one of those wants to pursue historic tax credits, they have to do their own National Register nomination, go through that whole process, and this kind of takes care of that process for many buildings that will now be able to just go straight to the step of pursuing a tax credit rehab. So. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for properties downtown.
And I will say, as I reviewed it last night, I realized the sit-in statute has been placed, and so we need to update the nomination based on that to get that property included. But that's kind of just last-minute tweaks that we'll be making to the nomination.
showing the tunnels?
Yeah,
So it can go below, so.
it can.
They're included,
The
okay.
tunnels are
I
included,
didn't realize
yes.
that, okay, great.
Yep. The tunnels below ground and then the bridges between the buildings as well.
So you all are not being asked to take any sort of action. This is just informational. So if there's no other questions, then thank you guys for coming out in the rain.
Thanks for letting me-
Future rain.
Use you as my public meeting requirement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I would say that some of the property owners received phone calls from their
We,
staff, from our staff.
This meeting, as well as the Historic Preservation Committee, was published in the Journal Record. It's obviously listed in our agenda, which gets published ahead of the meeting. We send emails out to a lengthy list of property owners and other interested parties to make them aware of our meetings and agenda items. So perhaps weather has scared people off, or people just didn't have concerns and comments and questions. But this has been made available to the public. So.
Very good. Thank you. Laura, you have anything you want to talk about on administrative approval reports?
I'm trying to think what I actually had on here. We have a very interesting mural down on South Walker, there at the Boulevard. And what I find interesting about that mural is the fact that when they started, they painted the whole glass and then they removed stuff. And so the pictures on the inside, I think it's called negative something, so the sun can shine through and makes patterns on the floor. I just found that fascinating. Different, we hadn't seen one of those. No, we got just some signs and fences. A new restaurant on Walker, La Parisienne. Another one up on 10th Street, Bar Sarah. So other than that, did anybody have any questions about any of these? Okay. And I'll morph into the next one with, yes, we do have items on the agenda for next month, several in fact. So we'll be doing an early quorum call because I know that's the week before Christmas. And some people might already be making travel plans. And the answer to the unasked question is no, we haven't heard anything yet. But you are welcome to reach out on your own. Especially those of you who weren't intending to still be on this commission, and I do appreciate you continuing to serve, Tony, so.
Thank you, Laura. Any comments from commission members? Okay, seeing as none, the next regular commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 18th. Meeting adjourned.
And I forgot to introduce Susan again.